Hey, good morning, Facebook. So as I was laying here, I started thinking about some things, and I started thinking about like passions and hobbies and careers, and but then on the flip side, I started thinking about spirituality, and then on another flip side, I started thinking about mental health. So what I was thinking about is that oftentimes in our hearts and in our lives, we have these passions, these ideas, these hobbies, our callings, actually, that eventually through life, as you progress and the experiences that you go through, um, it kind of like shapes you into who you are today. Um, Now, of course, I can look back and I can think about many things that I wish I could go back and just erase from my life. Um, but here's what I feel. Um, so the passions and the hobbies and things that you do today, right? Um, I feel like all have come from experience, whether you have gone to college for the career that you're in, or maybe something very painful that you went through as an experience kind of shaped you into what your um, what your um, paradigm looks like today. Um, Thanks for coming on and straight from my bed here. I just got thinking and was like, I need to get on there and share this. So now when you're trying to address your career or your passion or your hobbies, and good morning. So when you're trying to address those hobbies, careers, passions, let's just now take it from your starting point that your experiences help you grow into your passion, your calling today. But let's just throw a little trauma in there, right? So whether that be natural disaster, whether that be sexual abuse, emotional abuse, whether that be neglect or violent abuse or physical abuse, um, let's just throw that in there. Trauma, losing a loved one, um, and many other traumas that we can fit in that category, right? So when you're trying to reach out to your passion or your calling, what's set on your heart, or what's set in your gut that you're supposed to be doing in your life with the time that we have on earth. So let's just throw a little trauma, right? Throw a little trauma in the ingredient list. So often when a person experiences trauma, their perspective, their perception is hindered. Their life, it's almost like these blockages inside of their soul that holds them back from achieving what it is they desire. Oftentimes trauma comes in many beliefs. Beliefs that you're unworthy, beliefs that you're unlovable, beliefs that you're uncared about. And so oftentimes when you've got that calling on your life, it's very hard sometimes to continue picking up your cross and moving forwards. It really is so hard. Um, and it's detrimental when you've got that beautiful calling on your life and the depression is knocking at the door, or whatever it is, inflammation, or um, all those things regarding like physical or emotional health. It can be so hard to move forward when something in your path triggers you to remind you of something that was so painful in your life, and you're sitting there and you're like, you got all these plans to do great things and spread awareness, but then but then that flashback knocks at your door and sends you for a huge panic attack. Um, your heart starts racing, your palms start sweating, your mind starts racing. Um, so I am not, I am a broken mess. I've been called a wounded healer, several times. There is such thing as a wounded healer. So why would anyone take advice from me? Why would anybody in the first place listen to me, right? Because I'm a broken mess. Now, what I can say is this. I have a lot of experience, a lot in different areas. I've lived a very interesting life. Um, as I was reminiscing through some things, the other day, I sat up and I was like, you know what? I really have an interesting life. Um, from all the things that I've endured, but I've survived through. So that's where I say this. So I have literally reached out to so many friends during my panic attacks, my depression episodes, my I can't move forward episodes, um, and struggling with borderline personality disorder in the mental health field. That's where that term comes from. Is so challenging because someone with BBT, they feel things more deeply. Than an average person who can just shrug something off. It stems from trauma, which, if you're interested, May 15th, this Saturday, I'm participating in a BBT festival through the Emotions Matter BBT.org foundation. I'll be in panel 3, the family relationships panel. Basically talks about how family dynamics can affect a person who has BBT. So if you're welcome to join. I did post my event link on my Facebook, so you're welcome to join that event. Um, so what I wanted to say regarding healing is definitely a very tricky tricky thing because healing is something that some may try to avoid because it's literally sitting with your traumas, it's sitting with your feelings instead of running away from those feelings and running away from those risen emotions that come from those flashbacks of trauma or um just general stressors that life puts on us, like bills and doctor's appointments and just everything, right? Trying to um so the healing part. Um so, you know, our creator has helped me through some days along with some friends that have been there listening to me during my trying times. But the creator has helped me, my faith has helped me. So I have something called thanatophobia. So I have suicidal ideation every now. Oh, sorry about that, guys. My my phone lost connection. So what I was trying to say is the healing part of, everyday daily functioning. So faith in the creator has helped me a lot. Because I have something called thanatophobia, which why would I have such a thing when I have suicidal ideation? So thanatophobia is actually someone who literally fears that they're dying every second they're awake. Fear that their family's dying and friends are dying. And it literally is this controlling anxiety that leaves you just paralyzed. You can't move. You can't think straight. It's awful. And I have done so many things in my life to avoid dying, which I can't control that. I've realized. So my faith has helped me with that because I know that this is like a reverse psychology thing. So I know that if I were to die like right now talking to you guys, that I would go to a very beautiful place. A place that's prepared for me. So that has helped me overcome or deal with the fear of dying. Um Secondly, as I was laying here in bed, I started having this panic like, oh my gosh, it's like noon. I've got like 50 emails waiting for me in my inbox. Um, Events to plan, which I got discouraged with my last one, but events to plan, the house to be cleaned, breakfast to prepare, a yard to be cleaned, and I'm sitting here like, oh my gosh, right? My mind is like spider webbing into 5,000 different directions. So I turned over onto my stomach and I put one hand um palm up onto my stomach. Then I took my other hand that's on my head right now. So these are things that I do. It's energy. So that is why I have my hand on my head right now to comfort my head, to provide that energy into my mind. So I took the palm that's on my hand and I put it on the back of my back with my palm facing up. And I laid there and I kind of imagined myself just laying in this mold. Like, not mold as in like penicillin, but mold as in like a mold of comfort, a mold of just being. And I relaxed my mind, right? I heard outside noises. I had the worries racing, and I laid there and I felt the comfort of my pillow as my head was starting to boil with tension. I just laid there and just tried to let every thought fall into my pillow. And with my hand face up on my back, my lower back, where the arch is, and my hand on my stomach, it was like the panic attack, the trauma, the coping mechanisms that I've always used in the past haven't worked. So relearning how to balance my chakras and balance my inner being, because balance is certainly important, and it's different for all of us, and what we can do to balance our energies, right, within inside of us, because when they are out of balance, so many things can happen: inflammation, fatigue, headaches, dizziness, sickness, disease. um so many things can happen when our energies are imbalanced. Panic attacks, for sure, um, can definitely, be out of balance. So it's kind of just listening to your body, and, whether that just be, taking a moment, really just taking a moment to force yourself to stop thinking about every worry and everything in the world, right? And just listening to the silence, which can be kind of nerve-wracking for some people, because it's like people who are used to chaos, they want the chaos because that's what keeps them going. That's what keeps their engine, stewing. So, silence can be difficult for some people, because it's like when you're in the silence, you're like, oh my gosh, what hit is next? What what's gonna fall from the sky and whack me in the head? Um, so it's just being in the moment and just breathing and just taking a few breaths and releasing, um and just working at it one moment and 1 second at a time. When you feel like you've got so many things that you have to do all right now, it's forcing yourself to just step back. Step back and just breathe, because you deserve that moment to just breathe. Because, my child, you've been through a lot. A lot that would have broken you. A lot that would have sent you over the cliff in a heartbeat. And my child, that is bravery. That is bravery to stand up every day and pick your mat up and just keep walking through the fire. So, I just encourage you today, wherever you are, wherever you are in the world, the universe, you just take a moment, just listen to yourself today. Whether you need rest or whether you need some help, just ask. So I wanted to share that with you, that if you've got a calling on your heart, or you've got your passions or your hobbies, and you've got that blockage that is just really sitting on you, the flashbacks, right? I almost feel like sometimes through our passions that we kind of help heal ourselves through those passions and hobbies and things. But like I was saying earlier, traumas and flashbacks sometimes can be really detrimental, because when you think you're on this like path of moving forwards and smooth sailing, there's that flashback or that painful knot in your heart that just keeps revisiting. And the wounds, whether the wounds be mother or father wounds, whether the wounds be from a child, whether the wounds be from that sexual abuser that you faced. I just actually had a dream of mine last night, and so I'm feeling a little off today, I'll be honest. Was not expecting that dream. But anyways, I'll work on that. So, whether, those wounds in your heart that just leave you really, really, paralyzed in your spot of being today, I just ask you to listen to that and just be patient. Be patient as that knot unravels itself. And it truly is a process. I'm 30 years old. And I know there's many older than me that are watching, and are still learning. So I just ask again for you to be patient with yourself. And I know that, there's demands that are just waiting on you. But I have to say that coming from a standpoint of doing everything but looking at myself has left me in many nervous breakdowns. So it's important to listen to your soul and listen to your energy, because you are first. So I ask you just to, again, listen to yourself today. I'm gonna get up out of this bed and do a big stretch. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of bed and I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna slowly move about and just listen to myself today. And when my mind starts to wander with so many paralyzing thoughts, I'm gonna reel myself back in. And as I encourage you to do, reel yourself back in, take your power back. Because the devil is so he can be so easy to follow. The devil, he wants your life. And when you're a vulnerable person, he wants it even more. So, stand up and fight the devil and punch him in the eye. That's what I encourage you to do. Also, for those that are watching now, thank you for watching, and who hop on later. I have my book, Chasing Fireflies, a book that was inspired, or I got inspired during one of my mental health crises. I was sitting in the backfield of my grandmother's. Remember when I was talking about thanatophobia? Well, I went to my grandmother's because when you have phobias, you do everything in your power to avoid that anxiety. And I just could not sit with my anxiety last year. And so I moved in with my grandmother. um, because of my anxiety. And, uh, and in the midst of my mental crisis, I was sitting in the backfield and I called it my sacred space. I even danced with angels back there, as I call it. I'd put music on and I would express myself in the backfield. It's in the middle of nowhere, no one could see me anyways, but I'd go out back and I would dance, and I called it dancing with the angels. Dance because truly there are so many elements in this world that our human eye cannot see. Please don't be scared by that. But this what we are spiritual beings. We are spirits in a body. This body is our vessel. Um so when I say dancing with the angels, I don't mean to sound psychotic, but it literally felt like I was dancing with angels because every painful experience in my heart, I was expressing with music, and it was beautiful. But anyways, back to my story. So chasing fireflies, I'd go in the backfield of my grams, and I'd cry. I'd sit in the swing and I would just cry. Every song that I played, um, you know, Calling All Angels by Train, beautiful song. Um, Broken Halos by Chris Stapleton. Those songs, I'd sit in my grand's not black swing. I think it was actually brown, if I remember correctly. But I'd sit in her swing, and I'd sit in her swing, and I would just rock back and forth, and all of a sudden these fireflies started lighting up the nighttime sky. And as I was crying, these fireflies that were lighting up the nighttime sky, I just started feeling like I wasn't alone after all. And the tears started, they stopped. They stopped when I saw those fireflies. It was like a distraction. And I say like God was using those fireflies to let me know that I wasn't alone. Um that was the message that I got. I know fireflies are everywhere, so it's kind of like, well, it's just a firefly, but I took it as a message because they were lighting up the entire nighttime sky. And when I got back home to be an adult and face my thanatophobia and my fears, to sit with my fears and the anxious thoughts, um, I started writing Chasing Fireflies, and it's for free on Kindle. It started yesterday and it goes till this Friday. Um so if you want to take the offer to read Chasing Fireflies, I invite you to view that on Kindle if you have that. Um and if you ever want a copy, I'll sign it for you. Um I got some things up my sleeve that I am working on. Um, I was discouraged with my event that I held at Henry Law Park last month. But I did reach out to Erica. Um, I reached out to Erica, who is the manager over at Henry Law Park, and asked her if I could do another event. Um, and I'm hoping I'm hoping that when I plan that there will be a lot of you there. I'd like to see you all there, and hopefully that the weather will be better this time around. And Also at Locally Handmade, working with Shaniqua um, to plan maybe another book signing event. That one there is a ticket price, but Henry Law Park is free. So if you want to take advantage of that opportunity, I will have a table there. I plan on um, talking there as well. I have a video on a projector, which would probably be held more towards the nighttime, or when the sun goes down a little bit, because the projector, when I set it up this last time, I couldn't really see anything. So probably when the sun goes down is when I would set the projector up. But I've got some videos to show that I feel very are empowering. So that's up my sleeve. But if you want to take the opportunity, like I said, to read my book for free, it is a short read. So if you've got a busy life, like we all do, I encourage you to know that it is a short read for a purpose, with a big message. And as you read the book, it is a fiction, but I want you to know that those words are how I have felt through my life. And I have this feeling you'll get chills on your arms when you read that book. I just have this feeling. So anyways, I'm gonna hop off. I've got some things that I need to do, and I'm just gonna start this morning with sipping some Veda tea, which, if you would like to take some research and look up your dosha energies, we all have dosha energies. So we've got Vata, Kapha, and Pitta. So whatever you're feeling right now, there is a particular energy that will suit your energy needs right now. I'm not like 100% professional on dosha. I've only learned about it. But certain things, like for example, say you're just feeling so like in a brain fog or lethargic or just like ugh. Not only with Reiki and soul searching, but there is also a specific tea that, or incense, that can raise your vibrational energy levels. So there's one called Veda, which for me, I've noticed helps. It's like a warm sensation that just kind of like fills your nervous system, and it's like it's hard to explain, like the energy, like you can feel it. It just gives you like that, so there's many things that I do because I am a trauma survivor, and there are many things that I need to feel, what's the word, console myself throughout the day, whether that be just putting my hand on my head to give the energy through my hand into my mind, or taking my hand and putting it on a spot of my body that is feeling in knots, and taking that energy through the palm of my hand and just resting it on that spot within my body. Or whether that's taking drinking a dosha tea, whether that's taking my sage and going through my entire house, whether that's getting on my hands and knees and praying to my creator, whether that's putting on music in the moment to help me release that energy and that pain, whether that's getting up and cleaning a little spot in my house for the day, whether that's getting in nature, and literally I've done this. When my grandmother died last year, I planted a spot for her in my garden, and I have a solar light right there in the spot. So when I peek out my window at night, I see that light, and I think to myself, that's my gram. And at times I've actually gone outside and I've laid right next to her spot and I cried right in my garden. Now that sounds psychotic. Like if somebody was to drive by my house and see me laying in my garden, they'd probably be like, "Whoa, what is going on with that woman?" But that is what I needed in that moment, and that is what I did. I laid in my garden right next to where my gram's garden is. And so laying in nature. I've walked up to a tree and hugged a tree before. I'm not a tree hugger, for sure. But when you hug a tree, that is like connecting to nature. It's like that soul connection, the vibrational soul connection between you and that tree, between you and Mother Nature. Just letting it out. Just letting it out from your head to your toe. Just like that tree with the roots, right? The roots in the ground. And so things like that, just, I really need things like that every single day to function. Um and to breathe and reaching out to friends. And so I actually I'm not materialistic, but I require a lot of healing day to day because I am a broken soul. And so it can literally feel like I'm like escaping my body, and just my anxiety gets that high when it literally feels like my body, my soul escaped my body, and it's like in the corner of my room over there watching me as I lay here. It's like watching myself in a movie. And it's really scary when I dissociate like that because my anxiety gets that high. Um, so I require a lot of healing every day, a lot of day to day healing. And that's why I ask you, to recognize those things about yourself and what you need, to get through your day. And I encourage you to do it every day and try. Um, so, anyways, namaste. God bless you. Hallelujah. Whatever you follow. I'm going to get off today, and I encourage you to be warriors and fight those demons. So thank you for watching. Have a beautiful day, and see you later.